this call is going to be a pretty fun one. The handyman was here yesterday. There's no telling when the handyman comes, but from what they're saying, the thermostat's off the wall. It's missing a fuse or something like that. So I'm gonna go check it out and bring you guys with me. This house is vacant, so we've got a lockbox. This ought to be interesting.
Let's do it.
Okay. Looks like they are doing a lot of work to this place. Looks like somebody has trashed this place. And we have got an old Rheem. See if I can get some light here. I don't think we're gonna get any light here. Hope you guys can see. Looks like you guys can see just fine. Okay, so we got a blower motor that's running. So we got a little hackery plenum job here. Thermostat's wires are cut up top. Our disconnect's over here on a 60 amp circuit. This thing was installed in 2003. Of course, it's R22. So let's go to our thermostat here. Robert Shaw. These thermostats are garbage, but it is in cooling. Fan is in auto, and it's set for 72 degrees. So the condenser should be running, and it is not running. So let's head outside and see what we got outside and see why the condenser is not running. Should be an old Rheem Classic. Where's she at? Oh, over there. Okay. I got some tall grass. Watch out for some snakes. They're roaming around, starting to get warm out, so they're starting to come out. Yesterday I seen a scorpion. I didn't even know we had scorpions in Florida. Okay, so we got those screws on here. This thing's ready to come off. Wow, guys. So, from what I'm seeing, and I'm assuming the power's off because that contact point is just laying there. Okay, so there's the fuse he was talking about. It's missing a fuse. What I'm looking at is our contactor is pulled in. You can hear it buzzing. But the contactors came apart. So you see the contact points just laying there. I'm gonna check the power. Even though that disconnect is missing, it could be bypassed in that box. Always check for power. You gotta respect the power because it's not gonna respect you. Power coming in is on this side here. Going across, nothing. One leg to ground, nothing. One leg to ground, nothing. So we've got no power. So I want to show you guys. What I was talking about here. Our contact point is just laying in there. So this is going to be our issue right here. At least to get it running, to see what else is going on. That could be the only problem. There's no telling. These old Rheem Classics are hard to kill. They just keep running and running until they rust out pretty much, or compressor fails and customer doesn't want to put that much money into it, or they can't because it's R22. So we're gonna get a contactor, put it in here, and see what happens. Okay, so we've got a bad contactor, but this unit is extremely old. So when I run into something like this, instead of me just changing the contactor out, testing it out because it could be a waste of time, I'm gonna go and do an inspection on the whole system here. This looks like this place was neglected. So first thing I'm gonna check is this evap coil, make sure we got a filter, and we can kind of start there. So I'm gonna check that out and see what we got here. Okay, so just like I thought, there's no filter. I want to show you guys what it looks like. It is bad. Holy Batman. Okay guys, something like this. I know that the evap coil has been neglected. There's been no filter for quite some time. A pull and clean on something like this is pretty hazardous. You know, it's an old unit. The unit's 19 years old, so the coil could have a leak, or we could cause a leak by cleaning that coil with chemicals, because you can't rinse that off with water. It's just not going to work. We have a bad contactor outside. The contactor blew out. It's kind of concerning. It looks original, so it could just be a worn out contactor, but disconnect box needs to be replaced. I don't think we can find that pull out disconnect. I'm not going to bypass that. I don't bypass electrical boxes, disconnect boxes. So right now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take measurements of the whole job. I'm going to do a whole analysis here, and this is kind of what makes you a good salesman. I'm not a salesman, but I do sell equipment. That's part of your job as a technician. Plus you get a little commission off of it, so it makes it nice. I'm going to take measurements of the platform it's sitting on, take measurements of the air handler, take measurements of the plenum going up, the size of the plenum. We can't just slap a unit in and the ductwork be undersized, stuff like that. The line set needs to be replaced, being we're going from R22 to R410A. It's higher pressures. A lot of guys will reuse the copper. I don't recommend something like that. The copper is 20 years old, so it's going underneath the ground where it's wet, damp. You know, it's just not good. So we're gonna do a full analysis here, and I'm gonna bring you guys with me. Hang out, stay tuned, because this could better your selling. As far as your selling part goes, kind of what you have to deal with when you go to these places. Now that's sketchy. Ain't nobody done today, so I don't believe in none of that crazy stuff, so I'm not really too concerned. But got my tape measure, my notepad, my chromed out tape measure. I'm gonna take some measurements here and write them down in my booklet. Yeah, so let's do that, and we might call it a day. I'm gonna call the rental property people and let them know what I found, and see what they want to do. So hopefully they want to replace it, because ultimately they have multiple issues on the system. It's gonna cost a lot of money just to repair it, to get it back up and running, and we don't know if the other components are good, the fan motor, the compressor, if it's low on gas, stuff like that. So ultimately the best decision for them is going to replace something like this and start over fresh. So let's do it. First thing first, I want to get the platform top here. When we remove all the equipment, we replace the platform top. It's 37 inches, 37 by 26 and a half. I'm gonna write that down on my pad here. 37 inches by 26 and a half platform. Okay, so we got that. Now I want to get the size of the air handler. Although the size of the fit of the closet is going to be more beneficial, 35. I still like to measure the air handler, kind of give them a visual of what they're working with. So 35 by 18. 35 by 18 by 22. So we got 35 by 18 by 22. AH air handler. We got a 60 amp breaker there, but we still need to go back to the breaker panel, get our breaker sizes, so that way when we come out with the new equipment, we'll be fair and square on that. Our plenum size here, we got 15.5. My 16.5. So 15.5 by 16.5 as our plenum. Now we've kind of tackled everything we need to tackle as far as the air handler goes. When we run the copper, we run the thermostat wire. Obviously this thermostat wire can be replaced with ease. It's going right through the closet here, popping out on the other side of the wall. So we kind of covered all our aspects here. I'm going to take a picture of the model, serial number. I'm going to go outside and take a picture of the outside unit, upload, edit the picture to where it says what size breaker, all that good stuff. Let's go find the breaker panel. We'll go find the breaker panel so that way we can see what size breakers we're dealing with here. We got a Sylvania box. Okay. So we got heat is 1 and 2. So our heat is going to be a 50 amp breaker for our air handler. So 40 amp breaker is going to be our AC. And that's a 40 amp breaker. So we're going to notate that as well. And we're also going to notate what kind of breakers we have here. That way when we come back out with the new system, we'll have the right size for the right brand breakers for them. Everything we do is permit inspected. Everything that I'm involved with is going to be permitted and inspected by the county. Now, of course, nobody wants to do it, but one of the most important things, and I've gotten a lot of sales from customers because a lot of people don't do this, is get up in the attic, take a look at the ductwork, and if it needs new ductwork, quote them for it, or at least advise them about it. That way they know that you did a full inspection of their home. And trust me guys, they will definitely feel way better about that. So it is dark up here. I know you guys can't see. I can hardly see. I don't have my bright flashlight. It's in my truck. We've got all metal ductwork. Looks pretty good from where I'm at. It's all insulated. It's all hung up and strapped. Wow, that's actually some really good looking ductwork. So it's old ductwork, but it looks good. And the best part about that, being it's metal, is I could include a duct cleaning, and it's a metal ductwork, so it'll come out really, really clean. Also, what I was looking for when I was up there is if we can run a new line set or not overhead. That's how we like to run them. That's how I like to sell them is a new line set going overhead instead of pushing it back through that hole down there. So I've got everything that I need. It's a pretty basic setup. New unit, new platform top, new copper, new breakers if needed. All this is going to be ripped out. The plenum is going to be redone because it looks like crap. And that disconnect should be okay. We'll test it out, tighten up the connections, run new thermostat wire with the copper, clean the drain out with chemicals. That way it's like a new drain line. And I need to find that outside just to see if it goes outside. Looks like it pops out in polyurethane pipe, the black polyurethane pipe. So we'll cut that back outside, turn it back into PVC, put a new thermostat on the wall for a heat pump, take this old Robert Shaw off the wall, be good to go. So there you have it guys, we condemned this old Rheem Classic, which I hate to do because these units run like scoley dogs. I mean, they just don't stop. But it is what it is. A renter destroyed this Rheem Classic. It honestly looks like whoever was living in this residence before never used a filter. So the coil,
okay.
Yeah, the coil is really, really bad. It's one of the worst coils I've ever seen in my 12, 13 years of experience. But there's also, yeah, there's also other issues, and the system is like 20 years old. So
got it.
I don't know if it'd be I don't think it'd be beneficial for you guys to repair it. Because
No, so what's the cost to replace?
Going once, going twice. So
Okay, and what about, were you able to look at the ductwork?
Yes, yeah, so the ductwork, I did get up in the attic because I want to make sure that when we replace the system, we run a new line set overhead that goes through the attic and down the wall in the backyard. And the ductwork, honestly, it's old ductwork, but it's metal ductwork, and it's insulated very well. I would recommend that we clean the ductwork with like a duct cleaning machine that we have, because obviously if that coil is that bad, and I can send you a picture of it if you want to see it. But if the coil gets that bad, it makes its way into the ductwork, and I can kind of see it coming out of the vent registers. So it definitely. Yeah,
imagine someone who didn't pay their taxes, didn't change the filter. And
yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of working on a price for you. I've got all the measurements that I need. This is what it looks like. Pictures that I take of the equipment. Everything that it needs. It needs a new, it's got what kind of breaker it is, new copper lines, how long they're going to be. It's a 2.5 ton heat pump. The platform top is this tall. You guys, please hit that like button for me. It helps my channel out big time. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you're feeling froggy, share this video. This is going to help a lot of people as far as what it's going to take to replace a system. This was a diagnosis of a bad contactor and a plugged up coil, but I'm afraid so that when we make those repairs, there's going to be other repairs necessary, and this system is old. It's R22, it's phased out, it's time to get a new one. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.